was on a summer's day earlier this year, after I visited the dockyards in Brompton, 3 miles from here, that I first heard a voice, a man I would come to rejoice. Many have said he was steeped in British history, gifted, gracious, and intelligent as can be. And I must convey this truth, bless the free. For our first encounter did not frighten me. Oh, he sat in the corner of the parlor, lit by candlelight, stitching away as though he had the most urgent of meetings. The next day I mistook him for homeless, afraid. But when questioned, he said a workhouse was his last day. I lit the fire, drew a chair near, and asked his name, why he chose here. He shuffled, cleared his throat, and spoke with gentle yet firm conviction. I was born here, in these towns of Medway. My father, an able cook from St. Kitts, fled his ship to Britannia with quick speed. Chatham, his name that is. He smiled, recalling his father's tales of banana trees and Caribbean seas, a place he longed to see again. As he drank his tea, his face half lit, he spoke of privilege, of slavery's grip. In England, hardship is concealed, but most enslaved did not last beyond 12 years in the fields. On the 7th day we kneel, a tradition my father instilled. For 14 sunsets we spoke, though I never learned his name. We talked of his life as a tailor, and I teased him in jest for not being a sailor. At 12 he began his trade, 7 years of skill and education, the norm for his generation. In 1819 he sought London, not for refuge but for progress. After his father was laid to rest, on the 6th sunset I learned his mother was an English maid from Gillingham, who bore 5 children, one gone too soon. He spoke of his wives, both named Anne, their deaths less than 3 Christmases apart. His voice faltered, his eyes turned away, as though shielding me from his pain. One evening he spoke of Aunt Juliana, his infant daughter, who did not see 12 weeks of 18. Then he ceased. The silence stretched across the parlor air, heavy with remembrance. When he returned the next night, we both knew the last conversation would never be redressed. I made the tea and asked of his trade. He spoke with energy, relieved of tailoring in London, the smell of fabrics, the joy of fitting squires with garments, the pride in his hands, creations, all hard work, he said, to demonstrate innovation and gain consideration. But his tone shifted as he explained the treatment of tailors, less wages, more labor, the gentry like dictators. Even the 1832 Great Reform Act brought little favor. Wealth gives you cause, he said, with land you make strides in Parliament's halls. But for those with only tools, power is out of reach. He joined the Tailors Union, struck in 1834, no regrets, though the strike failed and he was blacklisted. exhausted, his job lost, his prospects derailed. The Metropolitan Tailors Union, the National Charter Association, these were natural evolutions. Unfair treatment does not reside solely in tailoring, nor hinder only me. The working class seeks democracy, representation for the likes of you and me. He spoke of the thousands who signed the People's Charter, who attended mass rallies, evidence of social discontent for all to see. I am aware of the power the title of National Executive bestowed upon me, but also the weight of racism, the mockery of my deformity, the plea to retain sanity. I felt the injustice, for I too bear my father's skin. A simultaneous sign passed between us, highlighted by the sun rising through the trees. Laughing, I asked where he got his accent. With a solemn expression he said, "This evening I will tell you of the 1840 Chartist rally on Kennington Common." I replied, "Sir, will you also tell me your name?" "William," he said, "William Cuffay." And with that he left, he never returned. The only reason I know he was once here in the parlor during that summer season was the sewing kit he left behind, tucked in a small, beautifully decorated Victorian chest. Like so many, I found out about the latter part of William's life, reading a book tucked up in bed whilst history is finally acknowledging William as a game changer. I'll put on a wager this man was never a crown traitor. He believed and stood up for the working class to live better, proud to be a striker, raising awareness as a prisoner, even when they made him a transporter, continuing his advocacy down under in Tasmania. This fellow whose ancestry went back all the way to Africa really was a political battler, living for others right to the end.